Hey everyone, Rivers here from Tech Connect, and today I want to show you a new media player called the Minix U1. This is an Android media player which you connect to your TV to access a whole world of media playback apps. Now the advantage that the U1 has over a lot of other set-top boxes is that it comes out of the box with a stock version of Android with full Google Play Store access, just like a tablet or a phone. So this way you have the choice of thousands of apps that you can install and then watch on your big screen TV. In fact, this player will basically make your big screen TV into a home theater for very little money. Minix even has its own version of XBMC made especially for it, which works great as a media hub so you can get that hard to find content. Minix is well known for making some of the best Android media players around, and the U1 delivers solid performance. It's based on the Amlogic S905 system on a chip, and Minix packed the U1 with way more additional features than any other box that's out right now. It's got Android 5.1.1, HDMI 2.0 which supports 4K video at 60 frames per second, AC dual band Wi-Fi which really works well if you have an AC router, 3 USB ports, 16 gigabytes of onboard flash storage, a micro SD card slot, optical audio out, Ethernet port, Bluetooth 4.1, and you get an included IR remote control. Or if you use the link in the video description down below, you can get it with an upgraded A2 Lite remote from Minix, which has a gyro mouse. This gyro mouse is really useful all the time, and it has a full keyboard on the back as well. Now let's take a look at the software on the U1. You can see here by the settings menu that it's Android Lollipop, but the desktop looks a lot like stock Android. It runs nice and fast too, but nothing fancy. Minix also includes its own launcher, which I call the Minix launcher. It's set up to make it easy to navigate with the IR remote control. The Minix launcher works great for toggling two apps, but once you get to the app, unless you're using something like Cody, usually you'll want a gyro mouse remote control. Even an app like the Google Play Store is very hard to navigate with the IR remote control. That's why I highly recommend getting a remote with a gyro mouse pointer built in. The Minix launcher is still super useful because you can just use the toggle function on almost any remote control. And that leads me to probably the coolest thing about the Minix boxes, and that is that they're really like a blank slate for you to customize. Here you see I have like 6 launchers installed. Right now I'm mainly running TSF 3D launcher, which I think looks really cool because of all the 3D effects and transitions it does. There's also Nova launcher, which is super fast and really good for things like icon sizing and theming. And then there's other launchers like TV launcher, which is really easy to toggle and highly customizable. It's really fast and you can pretty much navigate it in your sleep. So the customizability and the ability to install thousands of apps out of the Play Store are why I like the Minix boxes so much. Now let's look at some quick benchmarks. In Antutu, the U1 got 38 to 88, which is only like 10 or 20% faster than the previous Minix box. But that doesn't tell the whole story. The U1 does seem smoother when you're using it in day-to-day use, and especially in 4K compared to earlier models. Maybe it's the new processor, or maybe it's the upgraded version of Android, but I think the U1 is just a little bit more fluid when you navigate around the UI. I also ran Geekbench on here and got an average score of 1708, which is pretty good. Not as good as a lot of phones out there, but it does seem nice and fluid. Also, both these were ran on the box in 1080p mode. Next, let's take a look at Cody. Actually, the Minix version is called XBMC Minix Edition because it's a custom version made for Minix, and they can't call any custom version Cody. This version works really well, and I definitely recommend using it. You can also install regular Cody from the Google Play Store in addition to this as well. So here you can see some 4K video playback nice and smooth, and this is playing right off a micro SD card as well. Besides being very stable for navigation and video playback, this version of Cody uses a pass-through mechanism not found on any other versions of Cody on the Android platform right now. A pass-through sends the audio directly to your audio processor. So with this pass-through, you should be able to send HD audio 5.1 or 7.1 DTS and Dolby True HD to an audio processor via HDMI. And finally, I want to talk about overall system usability. The U1 is very versatile. Here you can see I'm mirroring it with my Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 with no problems. In the past, Samsung devices have been a problem to mirror. It also works on iOS devices. Here I'm using AirPlay on my iPhone, and the image quality looks amazing, plus it's super responsive too. It's nice and fast over Wi-Fi too, thanks in part to my AC router. By the way, if you don't have an AC router yet, I highly recommend one. Not all routers are created equal. If you get a new AC router, it really helps everything in your house go so much faster. I'll add a link in the video description to my router, which has been really excellent. The thing I like about the U1 compared to Google TV boxes is that you have the option to install thousands of apps. Some of them might not run perfectly, but at least the U1 lets you try them. With Google TV, they just don't show up in the Play Store at all. And yes, I know you can sideload them, but that's kind of a pain too, and then a lot of times they don't work very well either. Really, everything I tried on the U1 worked great. I tested gaming and it was nice and smooth and I had no lockups at all. Plus, connecting my Amazon Bluetooth controller was a breeze thanks to Android 5.1.1 and the Bluetooth 4.1 on this player. The games I show here all work on the U1, but not every game does. That's pretty normal for Android boxes though. The main reason is that a lot of games are made for touchscreen devices and not for TV boxes. Still, if you have an uncommon game that you want to play, at least it will be available in the Google Play Store to try on this box. I'm going to wrap up this review with a list of pros and cons on the U1. So first, the cons. There's no voice remote like several other big name boxes have. The micro SD card slot can be picky for high capacity cards. I tried 3 micro SD cards, 1 Lexar and 2 SanDisks, and only one worked. These were 64 and 128 gigabyte cards, by the way. I'll add a link to the one that worked in the video description down below. Video screen capture using a third-party app is supported in Android Lollipop, but I couldn't get it to work on here. That would have been really nice to have. And finally, the mouse pointer is a little bit too small when you're in 4K mode. And now the pros. I think this is the most versatile player out right now with an excellent selection of ports as well. Also, this player has excellent video playback. It played everything I threw at it, even in 4K. It also has 4K at 60 frames per second, which just looks really good. I tested it on my 4K TV, which supports 60 frames per second, and I could definitely notice a difference in quality. Even the UI looks noticeably sharper. And finally, the quality of the software is just really good on this player. The power and sleep options work great now, and the software is very stable and smooth. The bottom line is the Minix U1 is super versatile and has the widest selection of Google Play apps. It's a media playback beast too. Now there are more powerful gaming consoles available, but they cost about twice as much, so for the money, the U1 is a very well-rounded player. I'll add a link in the video description to a great deal on the Minix U1, and all the other hardware and software that you saw in the video will be in that description too. If you like this video and want to see more like it, be sure and subscribe to my channel if you aren't already, and also follow me on Twitter and Facebook. That's the best place to contact me if you have any questions. Thanks again for watching, and as always, aloha.